Well, Angus, the big news is that 3 front-running cars will be starting at the back after failing to leave the pit lane in time, and Jason Plato will start from pole, but he'll have a stop-and-go penalty in the race for changing tyres on the grid after the 3-minute signal. Thompson is one of those at the back. Martin Bell starts third, James Kay's fourth, followed by Gordon Shedden and Mike Jordan. Colin Turkington's one of those starting at the back, so Dave Pinkney's alone in 8th. Top Vauxhall is Gavin Smith, alongside is Jason Hughes. Reigning champion and points leader Matt Neal is 11th, but Collard's at the back, another one late out of the pits. Fiona Leggett's on row 7 with Fabrizio Giovanardi. He went off in qualifying. Mark Smith starting at the back, while in 16th is Adam Jones making his debut. Tom Chilton crashed in qualifying and starts 17th. Mark Proctor 18th. But remember, behind them are the cars of James Thompson, Colin Turkington and Rob Collard, and they'll be battling their way through as fast as possible. We're all set to go racing here at Oulton Park now. The green flag about to be waved from the back of the grid. Jason Plato starting from pole position in the Seat. Martin Bell is on the 2nd row, but we're missing several cars that should be up there, most notably James Thompson. He starts from the back, and Plato, we know, will have a penalty. Away we go. Martin Bell in the BMW trying to use rear-wheel drive to his advantage. Mike Jordan had a slow start and is being passed by David Pinkney as they head down towards Old Hall Corner, just squeezing back through there on the inside is the John Guest car of Mike Jordan, and Jason Hughes ends up on the grass. So does James Thompson, just gets it back on.
Well, Thompson, let's not forget, he's starting from the pit lane, so he's come out of the pit lane. The Seat team believe, oh, one of the Vauxhalls, that's Smith, can he hold it, can he hold it? Full power, get it going, he's just saved it. This is cold rear tyres, and that right rear tyre is the coldest tyre on the track. But the Seat team believed that the pit lane closed early. They were caught out by timing, and that's why they're starting from the pit lane with the MGs. But they're in the thick of it already. Look at Thompson and the 2 orange RAC MGs.
Yeah, they're in there, but also with 2 Vauxhalls with Tom Chilton and Fabrizio Giovanardi, who started near the back. So it's Plato who leads from Martin Bell. Take another look at this moment for Gavin Smith, Tim.
Yeah, Gavin gets a little bit wide, which means he can't load that tyre up early, and it just slides. But he does well to hold it and stay in the race. The question now is, when will Plato take his stop-go? If he takes it early and there's a safety car later on in the race, he can close back up onto the pack. So my advice to them would be to get it done early.
So quick reminder, Plato's got to have a penalty for changing tyres too late on the grid. There's some great racing going on further behind. Dave Pinkney coming through, leading the next group through. It's now the 2 Team RAC cars making progress already. Plato's opened up the gap over Martin Bell. James Kay looks a little bit to the inside there. He's running 3rd currently. Mike Jordan coming through, then Dave Pinkney. He's chased by Matt Neal. Good opening lap this for Matt Neal. He was 11th on the grid, and he's already picked off a few places as they come across the line this time. He's in 7th place and on the attack as they go down towards Old Hall Corner.
Yeah, Plato's still leading, and look how wide, oh, and he's lost it. That's Martin Bell, he's off, and that's going to be in the barriers. Oh, big impact at the rear. He's coming back onto the track, but everyone's avoiding him. But that'll be a safety car for sure. That car won't drive, the suspension's damaged. Oh, up the inside there, Giovanardi making progress.
Yeah, lots of progress being made towards the back there. And look at James Kay now coming under pressure from Gordon Shedden. This is the battle for what is now a 2nd place, because we've lost Martin Bell. This is a replay of what happened to Bell.
Yeah, and if they get a safety car now, won't Jason Plato kick himself for not coming in the pits at the end of that 1st lap?
Well, that's right, but Martin Bell, what a shame for the privateer there. Oh, look at this contact between James Kay and Gordon Shedden there. Shedden now is squeezed into 2nd place in the Team Halfords, the orange car. That is now 2nd position for the Scot in his 1st full season of British touring cars. And Mike Jordan has closed up to the back of James Kay. So Kay really under some pressure here. There's a bit of a gap then back to the likes of Matt Neal and Dave Pinkney. I think Matt Neal, yes, got past Dave Pinkney, and the Vauxhalls getting involved too. They want to make some progress here.
Yeah, James Kay did a fantastic job in qualifying. He qualified on merit in 4th place and did a brilliant job, and he's looking quite racy now. But he has got these Integras, these very quick Integras, that fired up Mike Jordan, who won his 1st race, oldest man at Brands Hatch. He's up behind him.
Plato's into the pits. Jason Plato, this is for the penalty that he's picked up for changing his tyres too late on the grid. So he's got the stop and go penalty, 30 seconds he has to sit there, and then he'll be allowed out. This is the race for 5th position. Pinkney on the inside. Fabrizio Giovanardi in the Vauxhall trying to go around the outside into the Knickerbrook chicane. That was a good move, and he pulled it off. Look at the 2 Team RAC cars banging door handles, banging wing door mirrors as they came through there, but they got through there safely, and they're also making progress. James Thompson is the next who'll try and get past the black and pink car of Dave Pinkney, but Fabrizio Giovanardi has fought his way through that pack.
Yeah, very effectively as well. But first rule of racing is don't hit your teammate. But when the cars are running this close together, how can you avoid it? As Tomo swings out to make a move on Pinkney. Pinkney defends.
Pinkney moving to the inside. They're approaching Lodge Corner now. This is one of the tighter corners, and Collard's got the chance to go round the outside of James Thompson. Collard always races well here at Oulton Park, and now he's got a real opportunity. But, of course, he's now on the outside as they head down towards Old Hall, and Turkington's trying to make it 3 wide. They go either side of Dave Pinkney. Thompson goes one side, Collard goes the other, and they've all got past Pinkney, who drops 5 places. Surely he must have some sort of problem there.
Well, fear, probably, frightened of all those cars around. I've never seen a move like that in all my life.
Chilton sideways, trying to get down the inside there, and Rob Collard gathered it back together once again, but it's all getting terribly tight out there. And now Collard is still under pressure from Tom Chilton and from the other Vauxhall of Gavin Smith, who's going to have a look down the inside.
Yeah, Smith's got the inside run. If Chilton doesn't come out cleanly, which he does, he's going to find himself under pressure from his teammate. But Dave Pinkney, he doesn't know what's been going on. He's got Jason Hughes now behind him in his MG this weekend, running with a 4-cylinder engine like the RAC cars.
Yeah, he's enjoying a bit more power this weekend, but up front, let me tell you, it's still Gordon Shedden who leads this race from Mike Jordan, who's now in second. This is a replay, though, of that run into Old Hall. Pinkney in the middle there, being swamped.
What a fantastic shot there. Look at that across the inside.
Oh, taking out the marker post and everything, but incredibly, all the cars actually made it through the corner. Now, Mike Jordan's now second, James Kay third, Matt Neal fourth. Giovanardi there, who's got to the head of that pack, is now in 5th place. So for Vauxhall, this is a huge boost. They had a terrible day yesterday, absolutely miserable. 2 of their cars ended up off the road in qualifying. Gavin Smith, the third car, had a misfire, so they really had a nightmare. But they've had a very positive test session between Mondello and this race at Oulton Park, Tim, and they feel they've made great progress.
Well, they went to Pembrey. It was a hot day. They tried to increase the car's performance in terms of its tyre life. Both Giovanardi and Tom Chilton drove. They felt they'd made good progress. Yesterday, as you say, they were caught out somewhat by conditions. Look at the amount of oversteer Chilton's got just there turning in. But they have made progress, and we're seeing it here in the race.
So, up front, it's Gordon Shedden with a 1.4 second lead over Mike Jordan in second, James Kay in third, Matt Neal in fourth, then it's Giovanardi, then Thompson, Turkington in 7th place. There are the leaders. There is Gordon Shedden. Oh, what an opportunity this is for Gordon Shedden, yet to win a race in touring cars. He's had a real up and down roller coaster ride in touring cars already. He suffered an exclusion last time out in Mondello, but then in the 3rd race of the day, he actually won the Dunlop Chargers Award for gaining more places as an independent from his grid position to his final finishing position than anyone else. So he's got the pace, he's got the ability, he's leading this one from Jordan. There's James Kay, but then it's Matt Neal in 4th.
You've got to take your hat off here to Mike Jordan, because yet again he's driving a fantastic race. He's not being dropped by Gordon Shedden in the 2006 version of the Integra. He's got last year's car. He's driving a Stormer.
Now look at this, James Thompson has caught back up to Fabrizio Giovanardi. Now this is the race for 5th place, and you've got champions here racing against each other. Giovanardi, a 7 times touring car champion of various different types, whether they be European titles, Italian titles, and of course James Thompson, a double British champion, right in the wheel tracks of the Vauxhall, and behind them both Colin Turkington, one of the front runners in this year's series, coming into this meeting in second to Matt Neal in the points. Thompson just a touch wide turning into Cascades there.
Yeah, went in a little bit deep. The road sucks you in there, and look how much time he's lost on acceleration out. But don't forget, he and the 2 RAC cars started from the pit lane.
Yeah, right at the back they started, so they've done very, very well indeed. But Giovanardi's just got a little bit of a gap once again as they head up the hill, back down towards Knickerbrook, really motoring at this section of the circuit, and then they've got to get hard on the brakes once more into this tricky little chicane. Puff of smoke there from Giovanardi's car. Thompson, though, still chasing. Then the 2 Team RAC cars of Colin Turkington and Rob Collard. Tom Chilton currently running in 9th place. Gavin Smith is 10th. Pinkney in 11th place, Jason Hughes is 12th, and Mark Proctor 13th, ahead of Adam Jones in the Lexus. Fiona Leggett's in 15th place. Jason Plato, after his penalty, look at this. Oh, gone through there.
Thompson's got a problem. Thompson's got a problem. We saw that glimpse of it going into Cascades with a bit of smoke, and he's lost 2 places there. There's something wrong with that Seat, definitely.
Well, we might see him come in, I suppose, if he feels that he's not going to be able to continue. But that's really bad news for Sayat. They had the front row of the grid for this race, and now Thompson seems to be in trouble. Plato down in 16th place as a result of that stop-and-go penalty, and therefore it's not turning out too well for him. So race leader Gordon Shedden, there's the gap back to the white and blue car of Mike Jordan, the red Alfa Romeo back marker there. Then third and fourth place battle, that was Kay and Matt Neal. Here's Giovanardi in fifth place. Oh, look at how close Colin Turkington is in the Team RA CMG, just almost pushing him up to his leap there as they come across the line to complete another lap. 11 laps completed. We're on to lap 12 out of 15, and that's the view from on board Colin Turkington's car. Now, we're looking back at what happened to Fiona Leggett. She clipped the tyres. That's the classic thing to do here. But it has put the tyres, look, pretty much into the middle of the road at the Knickerbrook chicane. This is at the leader, and look how much closer Mike Jordan is to the back of Gordon Shedden. Yeah, there was a 2-second gap. That has shrunk to a visible gap now. I think that maybe Gordon Shedden got caught out by those tyres down at Knickerbrook or took evasive action somehow. But suddenly, all of a sudden, Mike Jordan is right on the tail. Well, this is going to be fascinating, isn't it, in the remaining couple of laps here, because Gordon Shedden looking for his first win, being chased by the man who took his first win last time out at Montello Park and got a taste for it. Wants some more of it now. Watch out for the tyres. Cool. That one in the middle of the road there, a bit tricky, but they managed to squeeze through. Surely somebody's going to hit that if they're dicing for position there. The battle for third. Surely somebody's going to hit it here. Oh, did Collard collect it? I'm not sure, because Turkington went one way, Giovanardi the other, but no damage done, I think. No, I'm surprised our King of Entertainment, Alan Gow, hasn't thrown a safety car here to close everything up. Certainly Jason Plato would have liked that. Yeah, he would. Jason Plato down in 14th place as a result of that penalty earlier. Shedden managed to just open it up again over Mike Jordan. Here comes Matt Neal still attacking for third place. He was looking there, but James drove a canny line. Oh, he's missed a bit of a gear or something coming out there. Side by side, this is the chance for Matt Neal. We're on board Matt Neal. He's trying to take third place from James Kay. A little bit of contact as they came through Lodge Corner, but again Kay has the advantage. Now Matt Neal goes in a bit wider. Can he cut back here? Great opportunity for Matt Neal. Pick up the speed, the run towards Cascade Corner. Fourth gear, fifth into sixth briefly here, and then back down to fourth. But no, he's not going for it down the inside. No, he's not. But James Kay's got a fairly oversteering car. That way, by that I mean the rear is wanting to step out. He's certainly struggling with that right rear tyre at this stage of the race. So, again, Shedden and Jordan are pretty close together on lap 14 out of 15. So they've got about a lap and a half still to go here. Shedden doing his best to hold on for his first victory, and for Team Halfords, of course, to take their third victory of the season. Matt Neal winning 2 races last time out in Ireland, and what a star performance this could be for Shedden. 1 exclusion in Ireland, then his fight-back drive in race 3, and now he can really show them how to do it if he stays where he is. But Mike Jordan will keep the pressure on, as we've seen. Well, someone's going to finish with 5 tyres on their car, because it's mysteriously gone, the straight tyre from the Knickerbrook chicane. But you're right, Shedden has reacted to the pressure well. He's built up a comfortable gap, and he should be able to just hold him off for 1 more lap. Can't say the same for James Kay and Matt Neal. Their dice is well and truly on for the final podium position. It is. They'll be going on to their final lap now. What's going on behind Giovanardi? Lights on still with Turkington on the attack. Turkington trying to go around the outside of Lodge Corner. The brave beast to try there. Does he end up on the grass? Now Collard's got a chance to get past his teammate, and he takes advantage of that. You know, I've never seen that move work round the outside at Lodge in a touring car race, because the guy you're trying to overtake will just lean on you and put you wide, and if there's someone behind you, as Collard was, he could just go straight past. Yeah, well, Giovanardi has a reputation for being as hard as nails when it comes to racing, and he wasn't going to give anything there. The race leader still is Gordon Shedden, the 25-year-old from Dunfermline, looking to take his first win in British touring cars, but right behind him is Mike Jordan, winner last time out. Can he find just a little bit more speed on the final lap and keep the pressure on Shedden? They're way ahead of the battle for third position between James Kay and Matt Neal. It's really down to these two now. And remember, the white and blue car in second place was an orange car last year. It was a Team Halfords car. Now Mike Jordan trying a bit too hard, ends up over the curb there. That's given Gordon Gordon Shedden the breathing space he wants, and he can go into the final section of the lap feeling a bit more relaxed.
Yeah, the last thing you want is a guy on your backside as you come through this corner leading into the final overtaking place at Lodge. So Gordon will have seen that in his mirrors and be very pleased just to take the pressure off. But valiant attempt by Mike Jordan. Yeah, he was really throwing everything at it on the last lap. He's still there in second place, but it is to take his first win in the British Touring Car Championship. It's Gordon Shedden driving for Team Halford. He takes the victory, a beautifully driven win there. Mike Jordan takes second place. He's on the podium once again, and it's not from a reverse grid this time. So, the result of the first race of the day here. Shedden takes his first win. Mike Jordan, an excellent second place. And James Kay for Synchro Motorsport. The boys at Swindon will be cheering. That was a great effort. He held off reigning champion Matt Neal, who finished in fourth. Giovanardi finished in fifth place, fending off the two Team RAC cars of Collard and Turkington. Gavin Smith finished in 8th place ahead of Tom Chilton, and Dave Pinkney finished in 10th place in the Motorbase Performance car. The grid for the second race of the day sees Gordon Shedden on pole position, but he's now carrying 45 kilograms of ballast. Mike Jordan alongside him, he's carrying 36 kilos. On the second row of the grid, we've got James Kay. Had a fine third place finish earlier on, but Matt Neal, the points leader, the reigning champion, now has a lighter car. He's only carrying 18 kilos, could go well from fourth on the grid. Fifth position on the grid is Fabrizio Giovanardi. He's just carrying 9 kilos on board the Vauxhall. Rob Collard going well. He starts from 6th position. Colin Turkington starting from 7th place in the second of the Team RAC cars. Gavin Smith alongside in the Vauxhall. Then it's Tom Chilton and Dave Pinkney on the 5th row of the grid.
So Gordon Shedden will lead us off for race 2. It's coming up in full when we come back.
Welcome back. We've already had a classic race 1 here at Oulton Park. Race 2 coming up in just a few seconds. But let me just give you a warning about what can happen when oil is on the circuit. Well, this happened a little bit earlier on in the Formula BMW Championship. Niall Quinn it was who dropped all the oil, and then leader Ross Curnow went off when he hit the slick. And after that, it was a bit like wacky races, with more cars on the grass than on the track. So let that be a warning to all the drivers this afternoon. Let's get on with race 2 then, and hand over to Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards.
All set for the second race of the day for touring cars here at Oulton Park. Gordon Shedden will start from pole position as a result of his earlier win. Let's see how well he gets away. Lights go out, and it's not a particularly good start from either front row men. Here comes Matt Neal on the outside. Matt Neal on the outside from 4th place is going to take the lead into the first corner. What a start from Matt Neal.
Well, he didn't waste any time, did he? All three of the cars, and there's Turkington going off, trying not to hit the tyres, full lock to the right. He's just stayed off the tyres, but he's got damage on the left rear. Now they're entering the oil, but what a start by Matt Neal.
Brilliant start from Matt Neal. I think Turkington was involved in a collision on the run down to the first corner. Look at the cement dust put down on the oil that was spilt in a previous race. It's like driving through fog, and somehow I think they've all managed to get through Cascade safely. Matt Neal leads Gordon Shedden in second place. James Kay is in third. Look at Giovanardi for Vauxhall in 4th place. He's ahead of Mike Jordan, who lost out, didn't really get off the line terribly well there. Dave Pinkney's reasonably well up, and I think Plato's made a pretty good start as well. Yes, he has. Jason Plato, who started back in 14th and should be inside the top 10 even on this first lap.
Yeah, those poor engines breathing in all that cement dust, that won't be good for them. The filters will be working overtime, but Matt Neal's out where he needs to be at the front. He's got his teammate behind him, so a perfect start for his second race.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant getaway from Matt Neal. Shedden in second, then James Kay, Giovanardi, Mike Jordan, Tom Chilton's up there in 6th place, then it's Rob Collard, Gavin Smith, James Thompson is in 9th place, Dave Pinkney in 10th, Plato just outside the top 10, he's in 11th place, into Lodge Corner, and they'll be coming around to complete the opening lap. Dave Pinkney there under a bit of pressure from number 4, Jason Plato, who should have started he did start the first race from pole, but then had a stop-and-go penalty, which dropped him down to finish in 14th position. And Matt Neal is already opening up a little lead.
He is, and don't forget, the man who's second in the championship to him, Colin Turkington, who's finished every single race so far this year, hasn't come round on that lap.
Giovanardi almost making a move there on Gordon Shedden. Giovanardi up to 3rd. He's got past with James Kay gone. James Kay has dropped back a little bit. I'm not quite sure what happened. He was in 3rd. Now we're on board Tom Chilton. He's just behind Mike Jordan. Jordan was 2nd in the first race. earlier today, won race 3 at Mondello Park. Just ahead of Mike Jordan is James Kay, so he's still on track, but he's lost a couple of places, or one place certainly, to Giovanardi as the top 3 head down the hill towards Knickerbrook. Let's take another look at the start.
Look at the start. The front 3 cars all bogging down. Matt Neal's got the car rolling, sees the gap open up, and just drives down the outside. But there was a collision right behind, and that's Turkington, with smoke coming off the car, damaged rear suspension or a puncture, and he just goes straight off.
Yeah, the 2 Team RAC cars had a Vauxhall in between them, and they all hit each other. Now we're on board with James Thompson. He's sitting in 9th place, just behind Gavin Smith. I'm not sure if Gavin Smith was the Vauxhall in that sandwich or whether it was Tom Chilton, but whichever it was is still running okay. So the Vauxhall involved in that wasn't damaged at the start. Here's a chance for Thompson, but no, the door is firmly closed by Irishman Gavin Smith.
Yeah, and Thompson's got teammate Plato, but look at this, side by side. This is for 2nd place.
Giovanardi going for it in the Vauxhall down the inside, and he's got the advantage here over Gordon Shedden, and he's through into 2nd. So Giovanardi has taken 2nd. We're looking from just a few places further back. James Kay is still in 4th, and then it's Tom Chilton. So we've got a Vauxhall now up into 2nd. Another one is in 5th. Things are definitely looking much better here for VXR, and now Chilton is putting the pressure on. James Kay just ahead of him. There's Shedden. He's back in 3rd place now.
Yeah, now the weight is starting to play, isn't it? The cars in front that gained weight are now struggling a little bit. They're staying off the... Oh, there's contact there between Kay and Chilton.
Yeah, Kay and Chilton made contact. There's Chilton. He's lost ground as a result of it. They went out wide at the hairpin. Mike Jordan's in the middle of that mix. There's Kay's damage to the front wing. There was contact between them. Mike Jordan's trying to go down the inside. It's no, he's overshot. They've both overshot. Knickerbrook on the grass. Rejoins right in front of Collard. Doesn't actually probably gain a place, so may get away with that.
Yeah, as long as you don't gain an advantage. And did I see Jordan being spun out? Jordan's been spun out on the right-hand side with Chilton with damage.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Chilton's been spun out.
Oh, Jordan, you mean? Yeah, you're right. Jordan. I just saw him rejoining in the background. Plato trying to get through all of this. Thompson as well. Chilton with smoke pouring off the car. Look at the damage to the left-hand side. Well, there's Plato. He's still quite a long way back. He lost out as a result of that. And it's all happening everywhere we look here. James Thompson now trying to just stay ahead of James Kay. Dave Pinkney. Mark Proctor going well in car number 12, the blue Honda. Plato's going to finish Chilton off by the looks of things. Gives him a squeeze here.
Yeah, that was like the final blow, wasn't it, from Plato? But Mike Jordan, they're coming through your picture in the background now. He's been the big loser out of that.
Yeah, Mike Jordan way down the field now as a result of all that looking around. There's Giovanardi in 2nd. It's still Matt Neal leading. Let's look back at what happened to Mike Jordan here, Tim.
Oh, he just gets a tap from Chilton behind there at the point where he has no chance of saving the car.
And look at them all over the place. They all came out.
Grass, everybody chaos. I have seen Colin Turkington rejoin the race. Obviously, he's down in 17th place, but he has rejoined the race.
Yeah, well, you never know. It's worth getting out there, maybe trying to get fastest. That fastest lap at the moment is for Giovanardi in the Vauxhall. He's now in 2nd place, and he's set the fastest lap of the race on lap number 3. That was the last time around. So going well at the moment is the Italian, the experienced Italian, the man who effectively is filling the shoes of Ivan Muller. And I tell you what, this was one of Ivan Muller's favourite tracks. He won something like 6 races here. Bit of mud on the road down there, I think, from where cars had that problem earlier on. But Giovanardi running very strongly in 2nd position to Matt Neal. But for Matt Neal, another opportunity here to really open up that point advantage. Looking further down, Martin Bell is running pretty well in 11th place in the BMW as we rejoin the leaders here. 4th place for Collard in the Team RAC car. Then it's Thompson in the yellow and silver Seat. James Kay still 6th. Pinkney running well in 7th place. And remember, after this race, we'll have the draw to see whether it's top 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 cars that get reversed on the grid for race 3 today. So across the line they come. 4 laps have been completed. Matt Neal is in control. Tom Chilton still running despite that bit of damage to his car. Cement dust still being kicked up there by Matt Neal, but remember that's just the dust that's been laid on oil from an earlier race, and so far Matt Neal's looking relatively in control of this race.
Yeah, he is, but this is a very strong performance by Giovanardi. This will give a lot of hope for the VXR Vauxhall boys, because it's a strong performance, it's on merit, it's up against the two Honda Integras. Matt Neal not running that much difference in weight. But here we go, Kay and Pinkney.
Yeah, Pinkney now having a look from one side to the other. That front wing on Kay's car, flapping around, a bit of a lock-up from Pinkney, but he can't quite get alongside, and as we saw earlier on, It's very difficult to go in side by side and not end up on the grass. They didn't try it on that occasion. Behind them, not too far behind, is Jason Plato, and he is running in 8th place.
Well, maybe after this race, David Pinkney will buy himself a 2006 spec engine, because James Kay, who's got one, and who's also got 27 kilos of success ballast, is still pulling away from him up that hill. So, David, get your checkbook out and get one of those engines.
Yeah, he's going to have to spend some hard-earned money, isn't he? Matt Neal still leading this race by just under a second last time around. Let's see what it is as they come across the line this time. Yeah, it's still about the same, but there's the battle further back between 4th and 5th. Collard and Thompson, the Team RAC kind of a 7 there of Rob Collard, but he's got James Thompson immediately behind him, and Thompson could be threatening over the next lap.
Well, Thompson's the fastest man on the circuit. He set the fastest lap on that lap you've just seen as he crossed the finish line. And there he is working the wheel. Good in-car shot here. Look at that. Quick gear change. Just a couple of inches to pull back on the lever. Foot hard down on the throttle as you do it.
Yeah, that's right. Now he's coming down to the slowest corner on the track. First gear down there. And not quite close enough to get past Collard or to really put him under pressure. Collard's controlling it well so far. And he was telling me, Collard, after that first race, that Giovanardi, there with the lights on in 2nd place, was driving superbly defensively in that last race. And neither he nor Turkington could find a way past, but he said it was very clever driving by the Italian. Maybe he's learned a trick or two, and he's going to try and do the same now to James Thompson immediately behind. But Matt Neal is not getting away here from Fabrizio Giovanardi. This is definitely the best drive we've seen from Giovanardi in the series so far.
No question. These cars are the same spec. They're touring car specification. They're not the super touring spec. There's only 9 kilos of weight difference between them. And so you'd expect perhaps Matt Neal to drive away, but no such thing. Giovanardi is really keeping him more than honest. But Thompson will be trying to get through. If Thompson can get past, he may have a chance to get on the back of him.
On board here with Matt Neal, the reigning champion, the points leader as well, after that superb Mondello Park meeting last time out. It all started a bit badly at Brands Hatcham. Let's remember that accident he had with Rob Collard in the 3rd race. Did a lot of damage to the car, but he bounced back quite literally at Mondello Park last time. And so far, he's controlling the gap to Fabrizio Giovanardi, who's a touch wide out of Cascade. And that's where he's got to be careful of his lack of circuit knowledge, because anyone who's raced here knows you don't want to go over that curb on the outside of Cascade.
No, we don't, but is Tomo going to have a go here? Collard goes middle of the road to defend, but holds it inside. Thompson can't get through. He's trying to get an overlap on the inside on the out, coming out, but he won't do it. Collard's defending really well. Great to see that in-car shot of Matt Neal as Giovanardi put the pressure on him. Very little steering work going on there, proving that the car's really well set up. Yeah. Tyres are out again.
He's relaxed, yeah, once again. Look at James Kay under pressure here from Pinkney and Plato. And in fact, Plato's gained a place from David Pinkney there. There's the number 4 Seat. And Jason Plato's gained a position, moved him up into 7th place now. This could be good news for Jason Plato. He's in the region for the reverse grid for ending up on the front row for race 3. So nowadays we don't know how many cars will be reversed. Last year we knew it was if you finished 10th, you were on pole next time. Here comes Thompson, still looking for a way past Collard for 4th position. Still no opportunity to do that. But Jason Plato now getting himself into 7th is very much in the zone of being well up on the grid for race 3.
Good on board here for the front of James Thompson's car as he tries to get past Collard. His pace has dropped off after now he's got blocked by Collard, but he clearly has got a faster car, but just can't find a way through. Collard very strong on this circuit as well. We've seen him fight some brilliant races, did a fantastic race 2 years ago here, move up the grid, and last year, and so he knows how to defend as well.
Another new fastest lap from Fabrizio Giovanardi. So again, the Vauxhall's quickest on lap 7. He's got a 1:29.347 in his attempt to close up on race leader. Look at that, Thompson could not be any closer to the back of the car of Rob Collard, but again, just lost out a little bit through the hairpin.
Yeah, the circuit may be getting a little bit quicker itself as the oil that's been down dries up, but nevertheless, for Vauxhall to set fastest lap on lap 7 is still a big improvement over their performance previously.
Now, Tom Chilton with the lights on there is, he's got past Pinkney, he's trying to get past Kay as well. I think he's done it, yeah. Into the chicane they come. Tom Chilton's gained 2 places on this lap, and that's now putting him into 7th. Plato is up ahead, he's in 6th. Chilton now in 7th. These guys could be racing up front in race 3 when the reverse grid comes into play. But for the moment, the race leader here is Matt Neal. And still chasing him hard is Fabrizio Giovanardi. Lights on with the Vauxhall. Gap back to Gordon Shedden in third. Rob Collard in fourth, still chased by James Thompson. And now Plato, who's come up to sixth position. That's a good effort from Plato. We'll keep an eye on his lap times as well, now that he's in some clear air, to see whether the Seats are showing the sort of pace that they had in the free practice session yesterday morning.
Giovanardi's working really, really hard in that Vauxhall. Contrast that with the smooth, almost effortless performance of Matt Neal, and you see the Vauxhall twitching and moving, using every inch. Giovanardi's driving that car really hard, very reminiscent of Muller, actually.
Yeah, that's right. Muller, who of course has moved on to the World Touring cars now. But I mentioned that Plato in clear air could be quick, and he's just set fastest lap, a 1:29.116. Jason Plato is the fastest man on track at the moment. He's currently in sixth place, some little way behind his teammate James Thompson. Let's look through. First two come through into Knickerbrook. Now the battle for third. There's Gordon Shedden in the first of the orange cars, then Collard, then Thompson. There's Plato. So although he's the quickest car on track, there's a lot of ground to be made up between himself and his teammate. We're just over half distance. We're on lap number 9 out of 15.
Yeah, that fastest lap matches exactly his fastest lap from the first race. So we would now have to say the circuit is in perfect condition. No detriment due to the oil. It's perfect for racing.
Yeah, good news there. Let's just quickly run through that top 10. It's Matt Neal, Giovanardi, Shedden third, Collard fourth, Thompson, then Plato. Chilton is seventh, James Kay eighth, Dave Pinkney ninth, and then Mark Proctor going well. He's in 10th. He's ahead of the number 10 car of Gavin Smith, who's running in 11th place, and then ahead of Mike Jordan. Martin Bell still going, so is Fiona Leggett, and then Adam Jones in the Lexus. The Lexus actually had a fire. That's why he pulled off in the first race. They had a fire on board, and thankfully they've managed to get the car back out again, and he's still running down in 15th place. Back with the race up front though, and there is Rob Collard still defending from this man, James Thompson. You're riding with the Seat. Little puff of smoke, tyre smoke coming off the right rear of Collard's car there through Cascade.
Yeah, I think that's just a result of some body contact a little bit earlier, and as the car's heavily loaded in that left hand, it just touches, but nothing to worry about.
And again, they're very close to the back of Gordon Shedden's car, so there's still time for this to really shape up, and this is the battle for the final podium position. This is for third. So far Shedden's doing well, and bear in mind that Shedden is carrying that maximum balance, so you know, we sort of expect him not to be able to go as quickly, but he's doing well so far. He's managed to fend them off despite 45 kilos of balance.
Yeah, and it's something he won't have done before. He hasn't experienced driving with effectively half a passenger in the car, which is worth potentially up to sort of 0.4 of a second per lap, and makes the driving style quite different.
Just going back out on circuit is Colin Turkington once again. He's been back into the pits, gone back out once more, so they're trying to get the car presumably repaired for race number 3 this afternoon. But it is a big dent for Colin Turkington's chances in scoring points to keep Matt Neal under pressure. Turkington always seems to run out of luck here at Oulton. He's never really had any top results to speak of. He's quick here, but it doesn't always come together for him. So here's the battle for third. Still Shedden, Collard and James Thompson. Thompson, a former winner here at Oulton Park, but not as many wins certainly as his former teammate Ivan Muller had here in the days when they were running together at Vauxhall. Still Thompson applies the pressure to the back of Rob Collard's car. Still there's no room down the inside into the island hairpin, so he's forced middle of the road. And, oh, look at that. We're looking at the exhaust pipe there. What a great view that was. Now he's got a chance. He's on the inside. It's all about power up the hill. Can he get the overlap? And can he get the inside for the next corner? Collard's going to try and squeeze across. He's just got enough room to do that. And Thompson is denied.
Well, that was close, wasn't it? Obviously, Collard's learned a little bit off Giovanardi about how to defend. And Thompson's taking a little leaf out of Plato, his teammate's book on how to pass, because he definitely gave him a little nudge. Here we are coming into the island hairpin on board with the Seat, and Thompson just a little punt. Look how much extra room there he has on the apex to get up the inside. But he doesn't get such a good exit. Collard comes out better, and gradually moves over when he's sure that the car's in front.
Yeah, so that's good, clean racing from both these two. A little nudge like that, not too bad, but this time Collard's left the door open. He got caught out by Thompson. Now, has Thompson got the exit of the corner? Yes, I think he has. But Collard's now got the inside line for the next bend at Old Hall. Still side by side. Great racing between these two. Who's going to emerge ahead? Down into Old Hall they go. Into this one about 90 miles an hour on the apex. Still he's trying to go around the outside on the grass. And Collard, contact again there. Back on tarmac, and he's still behind him.
Yeah, he did. He had the grip. Tomo kept his foot absolutely nailed. He was over the curb and kept his foot down. They got to the grass and he still kept his foot down, but had to concede as the road bent to the right.
Oh, that was good stuff, wasn't it, for two corners there. Now, will he do what he did last time? Bang! Yeah, little nudge, little love tap.
A little bit harder this time.
Yeah, and he still hasn't quite found a way. Oh, has he? No. Yes, he has. He has got through. That was Plato behind Collard. So he pushed him a bit wider that time, and this time Collard is passed by Thompson, and now he's got Jason Plato on his tail, and Plato has set an astoundingly quick lap just a moment ago, lap 10. It was a 28.6. So Plato has caught them up despite being a long way behind a few laps ago.
Yeah, well, those two's battle between Thompson and Collard allowed Plato to catch up. Thompson's now got a bit of a gap, so there's no way that Collard can retaliate against him, but he may feel he was unfairly pushed there and might just take it out on Jason.
He might do, yeah. We'll wait to find out. The two Seats almost working in tandem here now. Can he do what Thompson did? Go for the late lunge. Yeah, he's trying Plato, but he's not quite alongside there. Collard still gave him a bit of space. Good racing again between these two. Plato is renowned for those late moves and getting fully alongside, but he didn't quite manage it that time. So these two still finding, this is for 5th place now because Thompson's up to 4th. Up front, by the way, it's still the same situation. Matt Neal leads from Giovanardi. Now, what are we looking back at here? This was the moment.
Yeah, the definite shove there, which was a bit harder than the first one. Pushed Collard wide, he had the brakes locked up. That allowed Tomo to go through with a good gap and nearly Plato as well.
There are the leaders then, Matt Neal and Giovanardi. The gap has remained at just over a second between these two, but I think Vauxhall will be delighted, despite the fact that he hasn't been able to quite challenge for the lead. Giovanardi has shown that the car has maintained pace throughout the course of the race. We're now on lap 13 out of 15. What happened to them at Brands Hatch in particular was they were quick in qualifying. Tom Chilton was on pole, remember, but late on in the races they knew they were losing performance. That's definitely not happened here.
No, it's been a great performance. This is really good, and this is what we want to see. Vauxhall up the front, fighting it out with the Halfords Integras, the RAC MGs and everybody else. We need to see it, and we want to see the class that we know Giovanardi has, and this has been a great race.
Yeah, so far so good. Oh, Colin Turkington, by the way, who went back out onto the circuit, just set fastest lap. So although he's a lap down, he's just become fastest man on track. Interesting that. Collard and Plato still together there. Still no option for Plato to get through at Lodge Corner, and they're beginning to run out of laps. Just 2 laps to go now for Jason Plato to try and move up into 5th position. And Matt Neal is looking pretty comfortable here to take another victory. This would be his 3rd win of the season, remember, having had those 2 victories at Mondello last time out.
Yeah, maybe Turkington went in the pit, slapped on a pair of new front tyres and just went to get that extra point for fastest lap.
Well, every point does matter, there's no doubt, and with Turkington running 2nd in the championship coming into this race, but Thompson was some 10 points behind him. Thompson currently running in 4th, so he may just stay ahead of Thompson. It's going to be pretty close. That fastest lap might make the difference. Matt Neal down towards the Knickerbrook chicane, a lap and a half to do here, as he still protects his lead from Fabrizio Giovanardi, the Italian, who's having his best race of the season so far for VXR, for Vauxhall, and the Astra Sport Hatch showing a real turn of pace here. 3rd position, it's still Gordon Shedden, and Shedden has opened up just about a 1 3/4 second gap over James Thompson. A very, very impressive drive from Shedden in 3rd place, carrying maximum ballast, and he does seem to have come good this weekend. Took the victory in race 1, and now showing he can drive the car when it's loaded up with ballast. There's the man who's just set fastest lap, though. It's Colin Turkington.
Yeah, it looks like he's after another flying lap with brake ducts trailing underneath the car and bodywork hanging off. He really doesn't need to be driving that hard now.
No, that's right. So he's got to protect the car for race 3, one would think. But on to the final lap goes Matt Neal, and it looks as though this one is almost in the bag. Let's not talk too soon. Giovanardi has kept the pressure on, but he's never quite been able to really challenge. And the gap back to Gordon Shedden is another 4 seconds, so neither of these two really under any pressure whatsoever. from those behind. And the question will be, they won't know, is where will they be on the grid for race 3? It'll all depend on the draw, which will be made at the end of this race. Matt Neal, being the race winner, by the looks of things, will make that draw and discover whether he ends up back in 6th place on the grid or perhaps even as far back as 10th on the grid. There we are, riding on board with the reigning champion. This is definitely going to plan, Tim.
Yeah, he'd be very happy with this. The hard work was done on the start. He made a beautiful start, got in front at the beginning and driven an immaculate race since, and very good for his championship, obviously, with Plato not scoring quite as well, although Plato has come up to 6th.
Yeah, that's a good recovery from Plato. Remember, he started down in 14th place, so for Jason Plato to finish this race in 6th, which is what it looks like is going to happen, that is pretty impressive. Giovanardi, who's going to come through in 2nd, he started in 5th place, so good effort from him as well. But there's been no doubt about the man of this race, race 2 at Oulton Park. It is Matt Neal with a stonking start off the line. He was absolutely away from the 2nd row of the grid and has dominated the race ever since. Matt Neal comes through to take his 3rd win of the season, maintain that championship lead. Giovanardi, though, coming good for Vauxhall. That's his 1st podium finish since he joined VXR at the beginning of this year. 3rd has gone to Gordon Shedden, 4th to James Thompson, 5th to Collard, 6th to Jason Plato. I think Chilton is going to finish 7th ahead of Pinkney, and then it's James Kay, who is just there, going to take 9th place from Gavin Smith, who finishes in 10th. So you never know, if the top 10 get reversed, then Smith could still end up on pole position, but we'll wait to see what the draw tells us in terms of who gets up front. Matt Neal has done the job in this one. He's taken victory, a dominant performance, beating Fabrizio Giovanardi, and Team Halfords have claimed yet another victory.
Yeah, and of course with Turkington finishing outside of the top 10, only getting a point for fastest lap, it does stretch his championship lead.
It does. That was a very, very useful victory for Matt Neal. Had a good run here last year as well, actually had one win and a couple of 2nd places, and very much part of building that points advantage he had at the end of the year. So the result, Matt Neal, the winner for Team Halfords. That's 2 wins out of 2 races for the team. Fabrizio Giovanardi in 2nd place ahead of Gordon Shedden. Then James Thompson for SEAT finishing in 4th position ahead of Robert Collard. And Jason Plato, who came up from 14th. Tom Chilton finished in 7th for Vauxhall. Dave Pinkney was in 8th. And James Kay just about held on to 9th place from the 3rd Vauxhall in the top 10, driven by Gavin Smith. Thanks, Vicky. Well, Tom Chilton is on pole position, as you said. Jason Plato is alongside him in the SEAT. Let's hope they don't have any penalties this time around. On the 2nd row of the grid, it's Rob Collard in the Team RAC MG, and then James Thompson in the 2nd of the SEAT. So they may be able to reclaim something from this weekend. Gordon Shedden lines up 5th, earlier race winner, but Fabrizio Giovanardi's well up. Matt Neal starts 7th now with maximum ballast on board as well. Dave Pinkney is in 8th place on the grid. Behind them, we've got James Kay, who had an excellent 3rd place earlier on today. Gavin Smith in the 3rd of the Vauxhall, he lines up in 10th place. Then it's Mark Proctor in 11th and Mike Jordan in 12th place. He'll be keen to get off the line smartly this time. 13th, Martin Bell in the BMW. Fiona Leggett lines up in 14th place in the bioethanol-powered Vauxhall Astra. And then behind them, we've got Adam Jones in the Lexus, Mark Smith in the Alfa Romeo. But watch out from 17th place, because Colin Turkington starting way back on the grid after problems in race 2. He's joined at the back by Jason Hughes. Thanks very much. We're all set for race number 3 here. We're really looking forward to a fantastic battle. Weather conditions are definitely a little bit dodgy overhead. The cloud has rolled in a bit. Let's hope we get a good, clean race to the finish. Tom Chilton is just weaving around, trying to get some tyre temperature up there. Jason Plato up near the front as well. There is the onboard view with Tom. And last year he won race 3 here at Oulton Park, and it was fully wet then when Jason Plato actually made a rare mistake and overshot the hairpin on the first lap.
Yeah, well, the stage is set now for Plato to claw back some championship points. He hasn't had the best of weekends, but he's now starting on the front row of the grid, thanks to the top 6 being reversed, top 7 being reversed. He has no weight. Matt Neal, Shedden and Giovanardi, who have all been quick this weekend, have weight, but Chilton, in the resurgent Vauxhall, is desperate to score Vauxhall's 100th win. Will he and Plato get together, or will Plato get out front and score good points?
Now remember, the best start was made from the 2nd row in race 2 by Matt Neal. On the 2nd row this time, we've got Rob Collard on the left as we look at it, in 3rd place, and in 4th place, James Thompson in the other of the set. It's his last outing in the British Touring Cars for nearly 2 months, because he won't be at the next one. He'll be racing World Touring Cars. Let's see what happens. It's Chilton on pole, Plato with him on the front row. Watch out for Collard and Thompson from the second row. We're underway. Good start from Tom Chilton in the vauxhall. A perfect getaway. Slow start for Rob Collard, and he is passed by Fabrizio Giovanardi, who moves into 4th place on the run down into the first corner. Collard then next up. Matt Neal follows through. Matt Neal has gained a place already, I think, as they head down the hill towards Cascades. Great start from Tom Chilton.
Yeah, Tom Chilton, great getaway. This is the stage there. We know he can win races from the front. We've seen it before as Ned's been under a lot of pressure last year. So, good opportunity for him. Matt Neal, as you say, another good start round the outside of his teammate Gordon Shedden into the first corner.
So the two Seats are running 2nd and 3rd. Now going around the outside there, Gavin Smith, another of the vauxhalls, trying to get past Dave Pinckney. Couldn't quite make it. Plato up over the rise. He's running in 2nd place. James Thompson is 3rd. Seats are desperate to claw something back from what's been a disappointing weekend so far. They were leading the team's championship before this event. Look at that, Smith being squeezed by Pinckney on the grass. Just missed those tyres. Don't know how he did that. Pinckney ends up on the grass on the other side.
Yeah, that was a shame for Pinckney. He'd had a great start, actually, but found himself with nowhere to go but the grass and has lost several positions.
Well, it's all happening in the midfield. Mark Proctor's got to the head of that group, but Chilton still leads. Giovanardi's up there, but he's under pressure from Collard. That's the battle for 4th. Further back, you can see Colin Turkington. He's up to 9th, Tim. He started in 17th.
Well, that's incredible, isn't it? He's really on a flyer at the moment. And look at someone looking down the inside. But yeah, great start by Turkington. Let's have a look in car with Matt Neal on the start. He had a fantastic getaway. Looked at the back of Shedden. Let's have a look at it now. Here we are. He gets the revs and throttle just right. Gets the car gripping and driving forward. That's so important. The only place to go is round the outside, but he's got enough momentum that before the braking area, he can shoot in front. He knows his teammate will give him space, and there it is. Perfect overtake.
Yeah, great start from Matt Neal. Once again, Chilton's made a mistake. Chilton's off the road. Plato's taking the lead, and Chilton has lost a place to Plato. Now Thompson's going fast around the outside as well as he can. Oh, they're all ganging up together. Plato working with Thompson here to keep Chilton behind.
Well, that was incredible. Well done for Chilton for holding it in the first place, and Thompson round the outside of the hairpin. Chilton, I guess, braked a little earlier because he didn't want to make another mistake. But Thompson ran the outside and he hits the tyres and he's torn the front right wing off. But maybe no suspension. That's Plato, you're right.
Plato it is who hit the tyres there. That's a mistake from Plato. Has it damaged the front suspension? That's the question. It's ripped the front wing up in the air, as you can see. Look at that. That was on the tyres that marked the entry point to Nickelbrook chicane. Chilton, though, back down into 3rd place. He'll be kicking himself. That's 2 big mistakes this weekend, but as you say, he did save it. He could have got off a long way. Yesterday, he crashed on his first flying lap in qualifying, so he's not having the best of times.
Here we are. This is on board. Plato clobbers those tyres really quite hard. He'd be lucky if that hadn't at very least deranged the front tracking on the front wheel.
Well, interesting stuff. Seats are now 1-2. On board with Tom Chilton in 3rd place. 4th place behind him is Fabrizio Giovanardi, his teammate. Chilton through on board. Look at him, he's really pushing right out to the edge. You can run wide a little bit there, as long as you're not right onto the grass. This is where he made the mistake last time. It was on the exit of this left-hander.
Yeah, he turned in a bit earlier to get that right rear gripping earlier in the corner, and it's worked then. But all the time he's sliding sideways, you're losing momentum, and the cars in front are going away. Looks like Plato's car is still competitive. Either that or Tomo's just going to allow him through and act as rear gunner so he can get maximum points.
Remember, James Thompson isn't competing in all the events this year. He's trying to help Jason Plato. He's trying to help Seats win the Manufacturers' Championship as well. Good battle going on for 4th between Giovanardi and Rob Collard, just behind this little group. Then we've got Matt Neal running in 6th place. Gordon Shedden is in 7th position. And then Gavin Smith 8th. Colin Turkington, who made that great start, in 9th, but he just set past his lap on the previous lap. So Turkington is flying. And Mike Johns in 10th, and that's Fiona Leggett. Fiona Leggett has hit the tyres at the chicane.
Yeah, no question. That is down the chicane. Here we watch. Watch in the background. She's lost it on the brakes. Gone over the top of the tyres. I've never seen that before. But she's obviously lost it on the brakes. The back end came round. Too much brake balance on the rear.
Oh, great shame for Fiona, who was really much happier after the second race, really getting to grips with this place. Now, looking back from Thompson, we're looking at our 2nd place man, Plato, in the mirror, as it were, of James Thompson. The 2 Seats in team formation here, with Chilton in a slightly lonely 3rd place, and then Giovanardi and the other Vauxhall 4th, Collard immediately behind. Now, Matt Neal, the winner of race 2, hasn't made so much progress after that good start. He's now stuck in 6th place. Remember, he's carrying maximum ballast, so there's plenty of work to do.
Yeah, Plato's just set the fastest lap of the race, so clearly he needs to hit the tyres more often to improve the car, and he's up the inside. Thompson's letting him go. Thompson has seen that he's got a fast car. He's going to let him go. Plato needs maximum points. Thompson can act as rear gunner. If there's no further damage to that car later in the race, we know it's quick, he can get maximum points.
So this is a huge opportunity for Seat and for Plato and Thompson to move up into perhaps second and third in the championship, keep the pressure on Matt Neal, and they're working brilliantly as a team, you have to say. They worked well together when they got past Tom Chilton. Now Thompson not fighting Plato getting past and already beginning to pull away a little bit. Chilton still in third place, and the Seat, who promised so much yesterday after free practice and qualifying, only for it to all go wrong this morning when they weren't out of the pits on time for one car and had a penalty on the other. Now it's coming back to them. Chilton here in third, doesn't seem to have damaged the car despite that off earlier on. Still in third, and here's Giovanardi versus Collard. Collard now trying to get past the Italian. These two had a good night earlier on today. Collard might have the chance to get through. He's on the inside, squeezing across. Now into Old Hall corner. Giovanardi's going to have to be very brave to stay around the outside here, and he's got to watch out for the two cars behind as well. Yeah, Collard got through very nicely there. There's Turkington wide on the background. This group all running nose to tail, but good overtake there from Collard. Giovanardi trying to keep the strong running from Vauxhall going. Yeah, that's good hard racing. Collard wasn't very happy about being punted by James Thompson in race 2, but I don't think any action was taken. It would seem to be a racing incident, but he's now got ahead of the Italian. Well, he allowed it pretty close there, and now we've got to see whether Collard's got the pace to escape these guys. The next one behind Giovanardi is now points leader Matt Neal, who won't want to get into trouble. Behind him he's got his teammate, which helps, that's Gordon Shedden, but hunting around is Colin Turkington, who's desperate to claim back some points here this weekend. Yeah, no tyres at all on the turn into the Knickerbrook chicane, so the cars can take the old-fashioned line right across the inside. This is a great on-board from Matt Neal, looking back at his teammate and race 1 winner, Gordon Shedden. And these two both carrying ballast at the moment, but Matt Neal holding his own. Yeah, this team, Team Halfords, have taken over the lead in the team's championship as a result of their 2 wins here. Today, Martin Bell and Mark Smith have collected each other. Alfa Romeo, BMW, one example of each in the championship, and unfortunately they've hit each other. Down to the hairpin, let's see what that was. Sort of halfway round? Yeah, halfway round, nose inside. Smith taking the racing line, contact inevitable, and the front-wheel drive car loses out to contact on the rear, but very slow speed and no real damage done. Again, looking back from the onboard, this is looking back at Matt Neal. This was a moment ago, and Turkington made a move on Shedden. What a peach of an overtaking manoeuvre. You said it right, that was a peach. Look, he dummied to the left to stay on the racing line, and then last minute dived up the inside, didn't lock up and didn't run wide. That was a really good one, and caught Shedden napping, and that's not what Matt Neal wants to see in his mirror. He wants to see his teammate protecting him. Yeah, so that hasn't quite worked out. There's our race leader, though, despite the damage to the right front wing. Jason Plato leads this race from his teammate James Thompson. Seat Sport running first and second. Vauxhall in third place. So the major manufacturers battling for manufacturers' championship titles here are running 1, 2 and 3 with Collard now up into 4th place in the Team RAC entry. Then it's Giovanardi, Matt Neal, Colin Turkington, ahead now of Gordon Shedden, and then it's Gavin Smith, and the top 10 completed by Mike Jordan. Mark Proctor's 11th, Jason Hughes is 12th, and Adam Jones from the Lexus is 13th. Fiona Leggett still going, she's in 14th, and Martin Bell still going despite that earlier incident as well, he's 15th. All the cars right on the limit coming out of Druids. That's a very fast 5th gear corner you were looking back at it. This is on the way up to Lodge, and you can see how good... Oh, and Shedden's lost it! Shedden's lost it behind and got in the gravel. But Turkington's car, very good on the brakes. Well, Shedden's been struggling a little bit on the brakes. Whether he got it wrong, we saw it locked up in the background, and he just slid wide. That may be a safety car, because the car would be considered in a dangerous place. Well, that's the big surprise. See Shedden make a mistake like that. This track is notoriously hard on brakes. Take another look at it. Yeah, the rears were locked up. You see the rear tyres were locked up? That's too much brake balance to the rear. And once they're locked up, you're really a passenger. So Gordon Shedden in the gravel trap after starting the meeting so well with a win in the first race of the day. Unfortunately, he's ended race 3 in the gravel trap. Great pity for the Scot, but nonetheless, at the moment, it's looking very, very good. The safety car, though, is out on circuit. Well, no great surprise there, as you said, Tim. dangerous position for Shedden's car, and it means that there's a bit of breathing space for everybody.
Yeah, everyone can collect their thoughts now. I mean, it'll help Turkington for sure, who's still racing. This is from behind Matt Neal's car, and he's still racing.
Yeah.
So, you know, but he won't be able to overtake because they're coming up to Druids, and then there'll be yellow flags down at Lodge. So he won't be able to overtake anyway, but they are still racing until they get to the start-finish line.
Yeah, that's part of the rules with safety car. You can keep racing up until you get to the line where you meet the safety car, unless there's a yellow flag. Here's the area where the car's off. There's a yellow flag here. There's no overtaking at that section. Battle for 7th, we're focusing on there. Turkington currently in 7th, so he's just behind Neal, who's 6th. The leaders have crossed the line. All slow down now. Take a pause, take a breathing space if you like, and we'll just take stock of what's happening here. There is the safety car, just allowing one of the back markers past there. That's the Alfa Romeo of Mark Smith, who was involved in the tangle with the BMW. Both cars are still running though, and now there are the leaders. They will be the next ones to come up behind the safety car, and they're going to close up, obviously. Concertina together. Might open the door for a few to make a move once the race restarts. Fastest lap so far, though, has gone to the man who's leading this race, and that's Jason Plato.
Yeah, that was a very quick lap, and that was set after he hit the tyres, proving that there was nothing wrong with the car. In actual fact, this is not a bad thing for Plato, because on the restart, effectively, we may see a little bit of gamesmanship from Thompson, because he can back the rest a little bit away from the back of Plato, which is not strictly allowed, but it's very difficult to actually say what is enough and what isn't, but he can allow Plato to get away.
Yeah, that's a good point. We've seen them working well as a team already in this race. Let's see whether the two Seat boys do the same or work together again on the restart, but we've got a moment or two before we do that. This will add some laps to the overall race distance. 15-lap race will add up to 3 laps if the safety car is out there for a while. They're getting the Shedden's car out of the gravel pretty quickly, though. That's good to see. Let's just take another look back at this.
Yeah, if you watch behind Turkington, you'll see you can't see it, the rear tyres locked up. But basically, obviously, as the cars brake, the weight of the car is thrown onto the front wheels. And if you haven't adjusted the amount of brake bias, in other words, pressure to the front brakes and the rear brakes enough, the rears, being very light, can lock up easily. And that's what happened. And then he was effectively into a handbrake type skid.
We've seen probably 2 cars then do that, Tim, because Fiona Leggett, that seems to be the same problem. It's happened to Gordon Shedden. Why would it happen? Would race 3 if the track conditions change or something?
The only possibility is because you do change the brake bias for wet conditions. We saw last year, Plato did exactly the same. You alluded to it earlier. And unless the drivers had moved the brake balance thinking it was going to rain, or it might be thinking it was greasy, and forgotten to change it back. But there's no reason after 2 dry races why they should have it wrong.
Well, whatever the reason, Gordon Shedden out of this race, so not continuing the fine run he's had today of 2 podium finishes, including 1 win. But we are expecting to see the safety car come in at the end of this lap. There's still quite a long way to go. They're only about less than halfway around the lap at the moment, so Plato just moving around, keeping the tyre temperature up. That front wing flapping around, I don't think that's going to cause any problem.
No, I mean, there is a mechanical flag if you have mechanical damage, but this is touring cars, and that's half of the course, really, a bit of loose bodywork.
Yeah, no problem there for Plato, our race leader. So down the hill they come, all of them moving around, just keeping that tyre temperature up. Gavin Smith there with the other Vauxhall with the green windscreen strip. He's running in 8th place.
I see they've managed to replace those tyres now as well. They've completely gone. So the marshal's taking the safety car opportunity to put the tyres back. All the drivers have seen that now, so those that were taking a shortcut across that will have to go back to the normal racing line.
Yeah, well, I hope they've all registered it. They might have seen it, but they don't always register it. There is Gordon Shedden. Well, he was a hero earlier on today. Flash he was in the first race, but unfortunately not quite so much in race number 3. He's thrown it into the gravel. Lights out on the safety car. That's the sign to all of us that they will be set off once again when they come out of Lodge Corner. 2 laps are going to be added to the race distance. So anything can still happen here. The 2 Seats are in control, but then we've got the Vauxhall of Chiltern, the Team RAC MG of Rob Collard, and another Vauxhall of Giovanardi who's now right with them. And remember that Turkington's shown great pace in this race, and he's currently running 7th. Here we go. Safety car into the pit. Now then, Plato controls the moment as to when he hits the throttle, on the power he goes. Now, will he be pulling away? There's the gap opening up. You predicted it, Tim, a little bit. James Thompson might not necessarily go as quick as Jason here to try and protect him. Meanwhile, further back, Gavin Smith trying to make a move. Mike Jordan, Mark Proctor are also there.
Yeah, Mike Jordan with the repaired car. He had some damage after that tap in the second race. His team did well, Eurotech, to get that car out, and he's back in the mix now. We know he's very strong in the second half of the race, but yes, Thompson just dropped back just enough to give Plato a free run into Old Hall on the first lap. Now he's picked up the pace a little bit.
So new race distance of 17 laps, tight into the hairpin. Normally Mark Proctor going fairly wide, trying to get round Mike Jordan, but nothing came of it, I think. And over the top they come. It's still Jason Plato, winner here of the first race last year in the Seat. Well, he was on pole for the first race today, but didn't go according to plan when they picked up that stop-and-go penalty. You're on board with third-place man Chilton here. Now, he led the early part of this race, but he's got some work to do here to try and close back up to the Seat.
Yeah, it's a tough ask, isn't it? Clearly, those Seats are running very quickly. They would have had fastest lap in the last race if it wasn't actually for Turkington fitting some new tyres halfway through. So Plato has fastest lap in this race. So clearly they are the class of the field at the moment with no ballast on board and a light car anyway. But Chilton's doing everything he can. But Turkington is perhaps the man we want to watch, and there he is looking down the inside of Neil.
Now remember, these two coming into this race, first and second in the championship. That's Matt Neal in the Halfords car there, and Turkington in the Team RAC car. They're currently 6th and 7th as they cross the line, and they were first and second in the points into this race. That way well changed though, with Thompson and Plato both running so quickly now. But Turkington wants to find a way through. He could be the danger man here. Just watch them down the hill into Cascade. Not enough space to go through on the inside. Here we are watching Turkington from the back of Matt Neal's car. Now heading towards the hairpin where they go all the way down the gearbox, down into first gear, down to about 35 miles an hour. He's having a look down the inside. Oh, I wondered if he might just give him a nudge, but he didn't.
No, he didn't, but that MG is very good on the brakes. It has a lot of compliance in the front, and it does grip well on the brakes. So if Matt Neal doesn't start defending, you can bet that Turkington's going to have a go fairly soon.
Behind him, he's got to be careful too, because right there are Gavin Smith and Mike Jordan as well. So he makes a move and then gets it wrong. That's what happened to him earlier on today. He tried to get past Giovanardi, didn't quite work out, and he was passed by his own teammate Rob Pollard. So you've got to plan your strategy very carefully when you go for an overtaking move here at Oulton Park, because if you get it wrong, it's so easy for somebody else to take advantage. There is Turkington though, desperate to get something out of this weekend. Things have not gone according to plan so far, and his second place in the championship very much under threat. All of them ganging up on Maurizio Giovanardi here. Giovanardi holding on to 5th place.
Yeah, but Giovanardi and Matt Neal both carrying weight. 36 kilos for Giovanardi, 45 for Matt Neal. And Turkington with nothing and a very quick car should be able to get past as the race goes on and the tyres get worn a bit more.
Well, let's watch them through Old Hall corner, over the grass. They all head out as wide as possible. It's turning into a real train of cars in the battle for 5th place, and he's going for it down the inside into Cascade. He's alongside, he's through, and also Neal gets passed by Gavin Smith, and he might get passed by Mike Jordan. Jordan maybe with the more work to do because he's on the outside as they come into the hairpin. But that was a great piece of overtaking again from Turkington, and Mike Jordan has got past Matt Neal.
Yeah, it's a great place to overtake this. You just carry the speed, dive up the inside. It's a really good pass because the normal racing line is a fairly late turn in an early break there, and it was great. And look how the vultures pounce on Matt Neal and pass him, both Smith and Jordan.
How wary, though, do you think Matt Neal is of protecting some points? And remember what happened to him in race 3 at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, he can fight back. He can fight back. He may get back. You know, Turkington may take out the Vauxhall in front of him. You just don't know. Anything can happen. But there's no point in Matt starting to bash panels with cars. He clearly was going to come out the worst out. But look at this. Turkington all over the back of Giovanardi on the exit of Druids.
Yeah, Giovanardi kept a tight line there, and that means that Turkington's forced to go out wide. And looking on board Mike Jordan, who's also attacking Gavin Smith. There was contact between Turkington and Giovanardi there. Mike Jordan tucks in now. He's in a good position here. No, Smith covers the inside. Oh, this is great racing for 5th place at the moment. Giovanardi 5th, Turkington 6th. Into Old Hall they come. Giovanardi's never been to Oulton Park prior to yesterday's free practice and qualifying, but he seems to have developed a pretty protective defensive line.
Yeah, watch Turkington again. Is he going to try the same move? Giovanardi defends it. He saw that and he defended it. but Giovanardi's really getting a hard time here from Turkington. Very nearly got turned around on the run up to Lodge on the brakes, but he managed to hold it. Look how defensive he's driving, which is allowing Mike Jordan, and behind Mike Jordan, Matt Neal, to be all over the pack as well. Is Matt Neal up the inside? Turkington's up the inside.
Turkington gave Giovanardi a little nudge, and it gave him enough space, and now Gavin Smith's trying to get past Giovanardi as well. Giovanardi, one of the hardest races there is, but he was outraced there by Turkington. He was so determined, he gave him a little push into the hairpin. Turkington claimed the spot, Smith just clipped the tyres there, and now it's Mike Jordan that we're riding with, lights on, trying to get past the Italian.
Great touring car racing, positions changing back and forth, but the fastest man of this group, Turkington, now at the front.
Let's see that move again. There was that little bit of a rub there going into the hairpin, damage done to the bonnet of Turkington's car, another nudge on the way out.
Yeah, he was lucky that Giovanardi didn't turn right there on the exit and turn him around, but he's got in front now. If he gets his head down, we know he's got the pace.
Yeah, so Turkington has now got himself into 5th place. Giovanardi's got his mirrors full of Mike Jordan, the winner from Mondello Pass in race 3 last time out. He's got his lights ablaze. I'm not sure whether that's going to make much difference to Giovanardi, but you've got to try everything in this game. And Turkington now, maybe with a chance of closing on his own teammate, who's a few seconds up the road. Rob Collard currently running in 4th place as we go back on board with Mike Jordan.
Well, Mike Jordan's a GT racer, done a lot of long distance racing, and it may be late in the day, but he definitely doesn't need the lights on yet, unless he's been reading the touring car rule book and is trying to intimidate a 7-times champion like Giovanardi by putting the lights on.
Saw Mark Proctor's car by the side of the road, so it looks like a mechanical misfortune has put him out of this race. Leaders are still Jason Plato and James Thompson. Sayat 1-2. Now, it's closer to 3rd because Tom Chilton in the Vauxhall there has got Rob Collard immediately behind him. So we've really got some pressure on Chilton here. We're on lap number 14 out of 17. Still some time to go.
Yeah, Collard and Chilton lapping very closely in lap times, but Collard's just eked his way up onto the back bumper, and of course we don't know the setups on the different Vauxhalls. They've been experimenting all weekend. Chilton's driving his little heart out, but Collard is a very determined racer.
He is, yes, and we've seen him gain places here in the past. In the background you can see Turkington, and where has Giovanardi gone? Giovanardi may have lost another place. Mike Jordan's got past him, and so I think has Matt Neal. Matt Neal also passed Giovanardi, so something went on that last lap. Mike Jordan's gained a position, Matt Neal's gained a position, and the Italian has dropped back a little bit. So after a great race 2, things not quite going according to plan now. Jordan's 7th. That means 8th place for Matt Neal, 9th for Giovanardi.
Yeah, look at that man just in the background. That's Jason Hughes just behind these two, coming into shot just hopefully after Giovanardi. But he's having his first run. There he is in the 4-cylinder MG with a bit of extra power. And look how well he's doing. He's holding on to the back. There he is, driving really well, Jason. He's obviously loving this engine. I bet he wish he got it a while back now.
That's right. This is his local circuit, so he was determined to get a good performance in here. And he's going well, as you say, thoroughly relishing the fact that he's got more power under his right foot, and he's been well up on the speed trap figures all weekend. Now, back with race leader Jason Plato, James Thompson right behind him. We're on lap 15 out of 17, so still a little way to go. Chilton in 3rd, wants to be able to fend off Rob Collard so far, and you can see in the background there the orange car of Collard not quite close enough to the Vauxhall of Chilton to be able to keep the pressure on. And then behind them is Colin Turkington, and Turkington running in 5th position. Still that fastest lap belonging to Jason Plato from lap number 3. Now the tyres have gone off a bit, we won't see that improved upon, and Sayat are looking for maximum points here. If they can just keep it all together and really claim back something from a very disappointing start to race day, and it all went wrong for them in race 1. Here comes Turkington now. There's Gavin Smith. He's running well. He's currently in 6th position, and the Irishman looks to be set to score another good top 8 finish here, score some more useful points, and he's stayed out of trouble so far. Behind him is Mike Jordan, Smith in 6th, Jordan in 7th, and then Matt Neal is in 8th place.
Yeah, Turkington's car showing the scars of his fight through the grid. He had a rough old ride, but he did the job. He got to the front, made some good passes, and that's about as far as he's going to get, I think, 5th place now.
Yeah, so we're with a couple of laps to go, under 2 laps now, but a lap and a half. The Sayat coming in to lap Mark Smith in the Alfa Romeo, who keeps well to one side of the track and doesn't get in their way at all. So the two Seat, just separated by under a second. 8/10 was the gap last time around, controlling very much this race. Chilton there, and Collard just a little puff of smoke as he makes sure of getting past the Alpha before coming into the twiddly section at Knickerbrook.
Yeah, ever the optimist, Collard definitely trying to get past there before the chicane. He knew that if the Alpha went through the chicane, he'd have no choice but to follow, so he's actually gained just a tiny little bit there on Chilton.
Yeah, but whether he can attack, look, he's pretty close coming up into through. It's fast right-hander, really quick, real commitment required through there. Over the curve on the exit. Now, is Collard close enough to make a lunge? I don't think he is quite. Decides against it. Chilton holds on to third place. Collard right behind it. The man who had his sixth-place penalty on the first race of the day here. That was after the contact he had with Matt Neal in the opening meeting of the year.
Yeah, some dispute about that actually, because he started from the pit lane in actual fact, and the rules say you must take the sixth place grid position penalty when you can. But because he started from the pit lane, he didn't in effect take it. So that's an interesting scenario for the clerk of the course to sort out.
Oh, well, maybe we'll have to have another one. That would seem a bit harsh, but we'll find out next time, no doubt, at Thruxton. As we ride on board with James Thompson, sitting in behind Jason Plato, these two doing everything right so far, and we're on the final lap. So not much more chance for anyone else to do something about these two Seat, and Seat really have recovered themselves. They dropped the ball earlier on today, being late out of the pits and then making that tyre change on Jason Plato's car after the 3-minute signal had gone out. So both cars really out of it in race one, but they've clawed it back, and this will mean that they move up into second and third, I think, in the championship, with Turkington not finishing quite so well. He's down in 5th place. Good opportunity here for Seat to extend their lead in the Manufacturers' Championship as well. A vital result. There is the battle for third. Tom Chilton still fending off Rob Collard. Chilton will be kicking himself after that little mistake he made in the early part of this race, but that's the way it goes. Last year, Plato made the mistake, and Chilton inherited the lead and took the win. This time, it's a role reversal. Plato inherited it, and he will take victory in race 3 here at Oulton Park. It's a 1-2 for Seat. Third place goes to Tom Chilton, fourth to Rob Collard, and 5th place to a fighting Colin Turkington, who made some beautiful passing manoeuvres to have to settle for 5th. He came from 17th place to Colin Turkington, so he'll win the Dunlop Charger Award for most places gained. And behind him, Gavin Smith in 6th, Mike Jordan in 7th, then Matt Neal, the championship leader, having to settle for 8th place ahead of Fabrizio Giovanardi in 9th, and Jason Hughes scoring the points in 10th place. So a good performance from the local man. But Jason Plato doing everything required of him. Jason Plato the winner. From Thompson, then it's Chilton in 3rd, Collard in 4th, then Turkington, Smith, Mike Jordan 7th, Matt Neal 8th, Giovanardi 9th, and Jason Hughes finished in 10th.
So another cracking race, a 1-2 for Seat. Chilton in 3rd, with more from Oulton Park when we come back. Jason, it looks good when you see it like that.
Just enjoying that, yeah. I mean, great
after the
result.
disaster of race 1.
Well, yeah, you know, we've not had a fantastic, well, what looked like it was going to be a marvellous start to our weekend, but we shot ourselves in the foot, and that's just how it goes sometimes. But you know, we kept our kept our chins high and our tails in the air, and look what we've come home with a 1-2. Just a shame we, you know, that mess up in the first race, but nevertheless, that's how it is.
Did James let you go?
Say again?
Did James let you go, or did you pass him?
Well, I kind of played a little clever move when I got inside Chilton, let James around the outside of us to give him a chance so we could have a 1-2. So yeah, he repaid the favour.
You didn't come back with a very aerodynamic car.
Yeah, I know. My inch is obviously a bit bigger than most people's.
No comment at all, but you ended the weekend in a much better way than you started it.
Absolutely. You know, it's always good to end the weekend on a high, and that's what we've done. And we've shown when we do our job right as a team, we're dynamite. And you know, we've got a few lessons to learn today, but looking forward to Thruxton.
Good stuff. Jason, thanks very much indeed. James, well done. You let him through?
Well, he looked a little bit quicker than me, in my opinion, so I thought I'd just let him pass. The key thing was to win the race. You know, as you know, I'm only doing 6 of the 10 rounds. My priority is the World Championship, and my goal here really is to assist the team manufacturers-wise, and, you know, one of us can't be me, but Jason can win the Drivers' Championship. So yeah, he looked a bit quicker on the day, so I made the executive decision.
And we're going to be watching you on ITV1 in the World Championship. What can we look forward to next week?
I think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic event. There's 28 cars on the grid. There's only 3 British drivers, and I think it's going to be a real spectacle. The Grand Prix circuit at Brands Hatch isn't used very much these days, so I think we're going to have a cracking weekend.
Okay, we look forward to seeing you there. And Tom, come on in. You started on pole, ended third. Are you disappointed?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I got a great start. It took them a few laps before they could catch up. And honestly, don't know what happened down at Cascades. Just got sideways. I don't know if I got a rub or not from Jason, but it was sideways, and I lost 2 places, you know, because obviously being teammates, is, you know, it's very easy to break on the inside of a hairpin and let your teammate come on the outside. But I did the best job I could have done in that car, and it's very, very promising. You know, this is the first weekend this year we've made a massive change to the car, and it's been really, really good. So this is just a little starter to the rest of the year, so we're very confident.
Because everyone at Vauxhall has been slightly disappointed at the start of the season.
Yeah, we had to do a massive change on the car to make it a little bit better. Well, not massive, a little change in the right direction, and it helped, you know. And all credit to the team and Vauxhall, it's been very, very good.
Do you feel more confident then going to Thruxton?
A lot more confident going to Thruxton, and I love the circuit. It's fast and ballsy, right up my street.
Excellent. We look forward to seeing you there. Thanks very much indeed. Well, let's check on the championship standings now, as they are after the latest races here at Oulton Park. Matt Neal is the leader still. He is now 14 points ahead of James Thompson, but Jason Plato is just 1 point behind him, and Colin Turkington is in 4th position. And here is the team championship. Not surprisingly, after a great 1-2 in that last race, Seat are ahead by some 13 points.